Thank you very much, Sangeeta ma'am. Good afternoon, dear librarians, guests from DELNET Discovery Services, ladies and gentlemen. It is indeed a pleasure to meet you all today. But having said that, having the hour after lunch is really a challenge, because I hope I don't put you all to sleep. I'm sure you've had a fantastic lunch, and now I hope you don't fall asleep. So, are we all back? Physically and mentally? Yeah? Yeah, good. Thank you. Hello. Okay, so we talk about communication, whether it's for students, for intellectuals, for professionals. Basically, communication is the same. It's the levels of communications which vary. So I'm sure all of you are good communicators in your own way, in your own field. But to get ahead in your career, you don't need just good communication skills. You need great communication skills. As Sangeeta Madam was rightly saying in the morning, you have to be the best networking professionals in your field. So for today's librarians, having a degree in library science is not enough. It's not sufficient. You have to be multi-dimensional in your aptitude in many areas, especially speaking skills. And I thought that's an area where most of us tend to lag behind. So today I concentrated on this aspect of communication skills, speaking skills, public speaking skills. But when I say public speaking skills, I don't mean only standing up on the dais and speaking or presenting to a large audience. What I mean is speaking skills, spontaneous speaking skills. Speaking skills are very important, and like any other profession, communications are required in your day-to-day routine. And as librarians, you have to speak to the students who come in, the faculty, you have to speak to other librarians in your network, you have to speak to publishers, probably to the suppliers of books, and then your management, the heads of the institution. So you have to actually interact with the lots of people. So I want to make this a very interactive and participative session, and I want your little coordination and cooperation for that. So let's have the next slide, please. Next slide. Okay. Give me the remote, please. All of you, can you read that at the back too? Give me the remote, please. Okay, what I want you to do is, please count the number of F's that are in this sentence. Okay, I think all of you had more than 30 seconds, so have you all finished counting? Yeah. So how many of you found 3 F's? 3 F's, can you please put up your hands? 3, good. How many of you found 4? How many of you found 3 F's? Can you please put up your hand? Okay, 1, 2, good. How many of you found 4? Anybody find 5? One person found 5. Anybody find 6? So some of you didn't find any F's at all. Did you find 2? No? So I don't see any people putting their hands up. So does it mean that you have not read the sentence? Should I go back to it once more? Yeah. Now, how many found 2? 3, 4, 5, 6. Actually, there are 6 F's in that sentence. So what did we miss? Which F did we miss? off. There are three off. So we found the S, but we missed the little ones. So it's this sort of little attention to detail which we generally miss. So it is these small things which actually make a big difference when it comes to communication skills. So let's look at this slide where communication skills for LIS professionals. All these skills that are listed here are necessary for any professional. Listening, interpersonal, public relations, customer service, leadership, negotiation and presentation. Except for the first one, listening skills, all the rest of the skills that I've mentioned here need your speaking skills. For interpersonal skills, you have to speak to the other person. Public relations too. So every other skill needs your good communication skill or speaking skill, except for the first one. Can we go to the next slide? Okay. So, in a survey recently, or not recently actually, conducted in America, when people were asked, what are the most the things that scare you the most? What are people afraid of the most? They asked them to name the top 5 things that scare them the most. And what was surprising was that along with terrorism, war, tsunami, earthquake, public speaking was one of the things that scared them the most. So people are afraid to speak in public. So if you're scared when you come to speak or when you stand up and speak, don't think you're alone. Most of the people are. More than 85% people have this anxiety when they have to speak. So, and another survey conducted, when people were asked that how many of you feel really anxious when you speak, 85% of them said that they feel anxious, they have anxiety spells, and they can't speak in front of people, and 15% said they're okay. But I think the 15% are lying too, because they have anxiety too, but the only thing is they learn to manage their anxiety. Because anxiety makes your energy levels go up, it makes you focus. So everybody does have anxiety. So how we deal with that anxiety is important. Have you seen a sports person before their main event, athletes, when they have to participate in an event, what do they do before the race, 100 meters race? They jog around the block, or they do some push-ups or sit-ups or something. That is their way of dealing with anxiety. Even great speakers deal with anxiety in their own way. Some of them take deep breaths, meditate, some try tongue twisters, some try to, different things. So these are the different ways of dealing with anxiety. And today I'm going to tell you a few techniques and how you can deal with this anxiety. When I say public speaking, I already told you I don't mean speaking only in front of a large audience. Speaking to a stranger, speaking to somebody else, speaking to somebody on the phone, speaking to a person who you've just met. What I mean is spontaneous speaking, question and answers, answering questions. When somebody asks you a question, you're suddenly caught unawares. What do I say? How do I answer it the best way? And introduction. Sometimes somebody comes in, you have to introduce them to the other person. So these are all the things that everyday speaking skills that we all need. So is there anybody who is very scared or cannot speak in public? Okay, I think all of you are good at it. So what I wanted to try to say is that when your focus is on something else, can all of you read this loudly maybe? Please, can you all read this a little loud? So this is actually a tongue twister. Why I put this here is, when you're reading this, you're not worried about how you're going to sound because your focus is on reading it right. So when you're thinking about doing something with all your attention attention on it, then you do not have the time to think ahead. Because, as I told you, I will be giving you some techniques. You know, our brain is such a thing that whenever it is given a suggestion or a question, suppose now I'm thinking I'll ask you all one question. Are you ready to answer that? I'm sure many of you are already planning on how to answer the question. I'll stand up, say my name, and then I'll answer the question, or things like that. Aren't you planning? Some of you are. So, there are some techniques which you can use to get rid of this anxiety when it comes to speaking in public or speaking to others in various situations. The first technique is, most of the time what happens is, we are generally in the way of ourselves, like we are the ones who come in our way, because our brain is so smart that the moment it hears the word question or it hears something, it's already planning the answer. What should I say? So we think ahead most of the time. So when we think ahead, when I say I'm going to ask you a question, you're planning the answer. So when you're planning the answer, what you get is, what are other people going to think if I give this answer? What if I sound silly? What if this is not the right answer? All these things are going on in your mind and you don't concentrate on the actual answer. So that is the reason all of you get flustered when you speak. So this is a small exercise which I thought will help, a small technique which will help you make your brain not to worry about what is going to happen and just be in the moment. So this is a game where all of you, can you please stand up? Ladies and gentlemen, can you please stand up? Yeah. So I'm sure all of you are very good at recognizing things. Your brain. What I want you all to do is, now look at different things in this room and just call them by the wrong name. Suppose this is a chair, that is a TV, yeah, that is the sky. So what I want you all to say is, just look at things in this room and call them by their wrong names. I'm sure some of you have already thought what wrong names you're going to call. Right? So I want you all to just point out to those things and call them the wrong names. 30 seconds, start. You can do it loudly. Sky, chair. Do whatever you want. This is, I'm doing this. You do. Yeah. Say the wrong thing. Say the wrong thing. Monkey. Light. Floor. Blue. Yeah. Can I hear some? Yeah. Fridge. Apple. Orange. Yeah. Thank you. So, was it very difficult? It was. Because your brain has already knows the answers and it cannot get out of the way. It starts helping you right away. To think a wrong thing, to think something else is very tough. And if you were playing the game, you would understand that the brain has already set a pattern. See, like how I said orange, apple. So my brain had already established a pattern. I'm going to call all those things. I'm sure this happened with some of you too. When you were thinking, you were calling either desk, chair, furniture, or using all the furniture. So this is your brain's way of helping you. So that is what creates all the problems when you think of speaking in public. So the first thing we have to do is tell our brain, thank you, I can take care of this, don't get in the way, don't give me suggestions, just react. What you're doing is reacting to the situation. So respond to the situation instead of reacting. Step 2. So here we have another small game for you all. So how do we react spontaneously? How do we react spontaneously? All of you are sitting beside somebody. If you're not in pairs, just look at somebody, make a pair. So this is a small activity which is to be done in pairs. That is, you give an imaginary gift to your friend, whoever is a friend here now, to the person next to you. Give an imaginary gift. What the person who does is, he opens the gift and he says, thank you for whatever you see inside. It's an imaginary gift, so you can see anything. You can see a diamond ring, all the ladies. You can see a diamond ring if you want to, but you can look at it, imagine what you want to see, what you want to get, and say thank you. And the other person has to reciprocate and say why he got them that present, he or she, why they got that present. So you are, instead of reacting, you are responding to them. So shall we have this quickly? We have A and B, pairs of A and B. Yes? Hello? Are you all with me? I'm not asking you to stand up this time. You can do it sitting. I know you had a heavy lunch, but so can you all look at each other, pair up with each other? So now what I want you all to do is pretend that you're getting a gift. Take the gift, open it with your hands, and then see what you got inside. So I want all the B's to give the gift to A. You have no company, you can take one, you can go back. Yeah. Shall we start now? All the B's, please talk to each other. This is exactly what I'm saying. Communication skills. Most of you do not know each other here, do you? A few know. How many of you know each other here? Put up your hands. Yeah, a few. But the others don't know. But how are you going to network? How are you going to improve your skills if you do not respond? This is exactly the problem. Why we are having this class, or presentation, or session. I don't want to call it a class, because I'm with you. So, this is one of the ways in which we can respond to the situation. So, all of you, can you please turn towards each other, whoever is a pair? Yeah. Can B give a gift to A? Take the gift. Take the gift. Do the action, take the gift. Yeah. Now see and talk to each other. Open the gift. Sir, who's giving her? Yeah, what did he say? Yeah, thank you, but what was inside? What did you find inside? What did you find inside? Huh? You don't tell him. What did you find inside, sir? Huh? What? No, what thing did you find inside? It was a gift box wrapped up. You opened it. What did you find inside? Pen. So did you thank him for the pen? Then why did you buy him that pen? Tell him why you got him that pen. Yes, madam? Who got the gift here? You got, what did you get? You gave the gift. What did she get? So why did you buy her a clock? No, she's got to answer. Why did you give her a clock? Oh, to know the importance of time. Sir, did you get the gift or give the gift? Sir, that is who gave the gift here? Bracelet. So why did you buy her a bracelet, sir? See? This is why we don't talk spontaneously, because we are always worried about what the other person will think, what the other person will say, how will somebody else respond. So these are some of the reasons why we are not good in communication skills. Here today I'm not talking about how to improve your communication skills. I'm not telling all of you have to read more or you have to speak English more. I'm assuming that all of you are good in English. All of you can speak quite well. But it's just that there are some inhibitions that all of us have, anxiety that all of us have, that we can't speak in public. So that is the reason I was trying to do this exercise, but seems that all of you are a little tired since morning. But anyway, if you get the gist of what I'm trying to say, you have to be spontaneous when it comes to speaking. You cannot plan ahead. If you want to be a good speaker, you should be spontaneous, and it's like it should not be a challenge. Whenever you get an opportunity to speak, you should look upon it as an opportunity, not as a challenge. And then spelling. So all of us have to slow down and listen. What do we do when somebody is speaking? Okay. So another important thing that all of us fail to do is listen. We have to slow down and listen. When we can be good speakers only if we can listen well. Most of us, before we listen to the complete sentence, we're running ahead with planning the answer, planning of what to say. This is one of the reasons we don't communicate very well. And the next one is, another tip is use structure. You know, when our brain is asked to remember numbers, suppose it's a cell phone number of your friend and you don't have a phone to enter it, you have to remember the number. What do? How do you remember the number? How do you? Yes, sir? But? Separating. Very good. That separation is called chunking. That is an activity done by the brain which divides the number into 334 or 442, because in that pattern the brain can remember things easily. Instead of all the 10 digits, the brain separates, and this is called chunking. It separates, divides it into 3 parts or 2 parts or whatever, and remembers it easily. So the same thing can be applied to speaking. When you are asked to speak or when you have to speak, you can use a structure, a pattern to what you're going to say. This pattern can be again divided into 3, like problem or opportunity, solution, benefit. Suppose I asked you to give me a feedback on today's workshop. Generally, you would all be anxious. Now, what can I say? How was the workshop? What do I say? So that anxiety comes. But suppose you take the small tip of, divide it into problem or opportunity, solution, and benefit. What was the opportunity you had today? You had an opportunity to listen to what DELNET services provides. You had an opportunity to listen to some soft skill tips. You had an opportunity to meet new people. These are the opportunities you had. So what did you do with that? And in the end, what is the benefit you're going to receive from that? If you divide it into 3 parts, giving feedback, is it very difficult? It's easy. Similarly, you could use another structure, what, so what, now what. First, I use the structure with my students. When somebody asks me a question, what? What is the question? What is it? What are they asking? Then, what? So what? Why is that question important? Why is that point or that thing or that question, whatever that is, why is it important? And then, next what? So, how are they going to deal with it? If it's a problem, how are they going to deal with it? If it's something else, how are they going to, what are they going to do next with it? So, if you have the structure, you can answer any question, you can talk to anybody. Before you talk, before you speak, if you can structure any topic into these 3 forms, you know, when you structure something, a lot of load is relieved from your mind on how I'm going to talk, what I'm going to say, because you have a structure. So, first is this, what? So generally whenever we do some, group discussion, They say you have to think about when you speak political, legal, social, environmental angles. When you think about it like that, it's very easy to talk about that topic. Similarly, that's easy because you already have all the what you're going to talk about. You have a structure. So if you have a structure, it is easy to speak. So what I would like to say is, now we know that we have all the tools, and to be spontaneous speakers. Just as first is to manage your anxiety. Second is to be present oriented. That is, think about only now. Don't worry about what somebody is going to say, how you're going to sound, what if. Don't think about all those things, and then slow down and listen. First, listen carefully to what the other person is saying before you start responding. Our general tendency is, before the question is over, we try to give the answer. So listen, give gifts. That is, take opportunities to speak. Be spontaneous when you speak. And use structures. Like chunking, just like in numbers, even in sentences, in thoughts, in ideas, you can divide it and use structures. So, and practicing these structures is important. It's just like, practice makes anyone perfect. You've heard this phrase many times, but I'm sure all of you you drive some kind of a vehicle, a scooter, a car, a bicycle. Yeah? So all of you learned driving at some stage, right? When you initially took up driving, did it seem very tough? How do I manage the clutch, raise the accelerator, leg on the brake, and then look in the front all at the same time? It seems very tough. Even when I learned to drive, how can you look at all this and look at the rear view mirror when you start? All this seems really tough. But with practice, it becomes very easy. Unconsciously, you can drive a car. Unconsciously, I'm sure you drive a bike. So, same thing with speaking also. If you practice, it becomes very easy. You can do it with following these small tips. All the best. Be great speakers. Thank you.